today I'm going to be hiking the Hartman Creek segment of the Ice Age Trail. The first little bit of the trail is closed. I guess there's a bridge out. The sign there says closed. And I think we got to go around, so we take 54 here, Highway 54 to Town Line Road, and down that to Badger and to Edminster or something like that. So a couple miles of road walk to start out. Alright, now I'm on Badger Road, just off of Highway 54. It's a cute little church, huh? Nice. So we got a little bit of road walking to do. Okay, so I finished that detour, and here's the closed part of the trail. Looks like wetlands down there. It's probably where the bridge is, out down there somewhere. So now we get back on the regular trail and see what it's like. Nice little parking area here. A little icy, but if you can get in here, you can get out because it's downhill going out. Oh yeah, it's slippery here. I'm going to take the side here, that's a little better. Well, if you see the camera flip up in the air, you know what happened. Let's see what this sign says over here. Oh, that's a ski trail that way, and the Ice Age trail goes this way. Okay, well, here we go into Hartman Creek segment. Pretty slippery trail, so I'm gonna put my ice spikes on. I suppose there'll be parts where it's muddy or something, but this ice, you gotta have them, otherwise you're gonna go flying, or you'll have to go so slow you can hardly finish any trail. It's beautiful in here. Nice conifer forest. A few other trees too. It's a sunny day. It's gonna be up to like 50, I think, 47 or something. And that's very pleasant back in here. I know there's supposed to be a lot of up and down in this trail, but looks like we're coming to uphill here. That'd be pretty steep to go straight up, so I think we're going to go maybe around it or up at an angle. Yep, up at an angle. Well, I'm glad I brought my micro spikes. It would have been a tough trail without them, at least so far. It's not quite as bad here, but when you get to some places like this where it's all ice, I suppose if you're using trekking poles it help, but I'm happy to have my micro spikes on today. This is really a beautiful park in here. This park has some special glacial features, and I don't know if I'll be able to figure out where they are, but what it is the glacier came down and stopped at kind of a hill, an upgrade, and that's where it started to melt. So as it melted, there became a pool of sediment at the end of it, and then it kind of froze up again, and then it started receding and down the hill, and it did the same thing again and left a bunch of sediment and then froze up again. So what it left were these big steps, which is kind of an interesting feature. I wasn't sure what to expect for trail conditions here. I knew it was going to get warm and the snow would start to get melty. A few days ago I was on the Hartman River segment, and it was kind of like mashed potatoes, frozen mashed potatoes. You'd step and it would kind of crunch down, and so it's kind of hard to walk on. But I didn't know if this would be the same thing, but I think what the difference is this trail is used a lot more, and so it's worn right down to all that's left is ice and packed snow. So that's why we got the icy conditions. But as long as you're prepared for whatever comes your way, you can deal with it. It's just one grove after another, these beautiful white pines and other trees, spruce or whatever we got in here. Well, now we're getting to where it's less pines in here, but there's still some. But it's a lot more deciduous trees. Still pretty though. It's up and down the hills, and nice day for a walk. When I first got to the other end of the trail and went to lock my bike up before I started the hike, I bent over to lock the bike up and my water bottle fell out of my backpack and cracked. And a bunch of water came out, and long story short, I ended up with having a third of the water I started with before I started the hike. That's not really a big deal. Sometimes I go the whole hike and don't take any water, but you know, it's just nice to have some with you. So what I've been doing is grabbing a handful of snow every once in a while. There's a little debris in it, but not a big deal. It's kind of like eating a snow cone, if you know what that is. An unflavored snow cone. But it's kind of refreshing when you take on a hike like this. There's kind of a deep kettle over there, and then the hill to the right kind of looks like it could be one of them step things, but or over here maybe, I don't know. Interesting terrain nonetheless. Well, now we're getting back into the conifer forest. A little darker because of the shade, but very pleasant. These seem like a lot more seedling or smaller trees, so maybe they're just starting to take over this part of the forest. Yeah, we're coming to a road here. Haven't been looking at my map, so I'm not sure exactly what road this is. Maybe it'll say up here. So, back into the woods. Well, I wasn't really expecting to come out into a clearing after all those nice forests. But not wrong with this either. This is right in the middle of the Hartman Creek State Park, so there's a lot of trails going around in here. So you gotta pay attention, watch for the yellow blazes. Back into the woods here. Alright, so I started out up here. Well, I took a detour to there, I think. And then I did all this. And now I'm right there. So it looks like I got about a mile and a quarter left. Alright. There's the slapper tree. If you're not watching, it'll slap you. Well, looks like we're in the Emmons Creek Barrens State Natural Area. Huh. Cardinal blue butterfly. That's a rare species. In the summertime, you might see one in here. So look at there we are in the Oak Savanna Pine Barrens. Well, they were in the 1880s, it says. Well, it looks like we're coming to the end of the Hartman Creek segment. You can see way into the next segment, the Emmons Creek segment. Some of the trees probably occluded a little more, but looks like it'll be an interesting segment. I'd say the Hartman Creek segment was a beautiful segment and a nice one to do in the late winter like I did. If you got the micro spikes, be tough without them. Well, it looks like we got one more dipsy doodle here. Down and back up. Well, the ice spikes paid for themselves on that hill. Well, here's Emmons Creek Road. And that's the end of the Hartman Creek segment. Thanks for coming along. See you next time. Bye.